Hi, David and Sandy. I hope you're doing well. I know we've had a very busy week in week 5. I look forward to going over your assignments today and tomorrow is my plan. I apologize. I checked out a little bit over the weekend. Well, I don't apologize for that. It's always good to take a Sabbath, right? But I was on a mountain vacation with my family and then my sisters and my parents and their families. And we've never done anything like that before. It was really, really special to get a cabin up in the forest and hike and swim in the lake. And it was great. We were up in the Central Valley, which is where all of my family lives and where I grew up. So anyways, that's why this video is late. And I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page for week 6. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so week 6, we are nearing the end. This week, the content is much simpler, which is good, right? Because you still have a lot of assignments this week. But this week, we are only doing 2 major topics, disaster management and environmental health. They don't necessarily go together, but the end, these last 2 weeks of content are really just kind of other big picture topics related to public health. So as always, there's a lecture video, there are slides. In the disaster management piece, there is a podcast episode. If you're into walking or exercising, I highly encourage you just put this on and go for a walk or run or bike ride or whatever. That is definitely how I love to listen to podcasts and learn. And this podcast, it's from the New York Times, it's called The Daily, I highly recommend it. I have been kind of an avid listener since the pandemic started, and they have just provided a wealth of information and knowledge and inspiring stories. And yeah, and it's always about 30 minutes long, which is great. There's another article, and then there's 2 short articles that I want you to read. Basically what we're doing is we're just talking about very simple basics related to disaster management and then applying that to our current disaster. And then our second topic is environmental health. You have a TED Talk style video, while it's not a TED Talk, a lecture video and lecture, and then just some simple fact sheets that I'd like for you to review that just really work well with our assignments and with the PowerPoint. Just note here, I talked at the top about how the lecture video for disaster management, I actually created it for my spring class when I teach this in the spring. And so there's just a few things that are not updated, but otherwise the content is all very relevant. Okay, and so then for assignments, you have the discussion board for your Public Health Now presentation. It looks like David has already attached his link there. And so this is a very simple discussion board. All you have to do is submit your presentation. You'll be graded on the actual presentation through the Public Health Now paper and presentation assignment. So this is just to submit it so that we can watch it. And then you just need to respond to your one other peer. Please respond with one strength, at least one strength, one area for improvement, and one thing you learned. The strengths and the areas for improvement can be related to presenting style, to the PowerPoint development, or to the actual content. And you'll just need to have that one reply due by this coming Thursday. Our regular discussion for the week is talking about our disaster management response. And so the content or the prompts are listed there. And then your application piece is on environmental health. I think everything should be straightforward. I just want to make sure that we get to the health policy letter. So this is your second major assignment of the course, your second and final major assignment. And this is where you're writing a short 1 to 2 page letter to either a legislator at the state, local, or national level, or it could be an executive with an organization, healthcare system, something of that nature, on a policy or health policy topic that's of interest to you. Please make sure that you use this linked resource as a guide for formatting a business letter. It is not just an APA paper, it's a very different format, so that is kind of a guide for you there. Please identify yourself as a Point Loma student. Please explain who you are, not only that you're a Point Loma student, but that you guys are working nurses with plenty of experience. You do not necessarily need to identify your employer, that's your choice, but please identify that you are an experienced nurse, maybe give a little bit about your background to add to your credibility as you write this letter. And then there for the rubric, there you can just look at it here. There's 8 different criteria of things that you need to include in your letter. And then the second piece here is just talking about the formatting piece and that it's, you know, written correct grammar and spelling. Please include APA references cited on a separate page. This is something that you may or may not decide to send to your to the person. I think it would be helpful just to make sure that you're backing up what you're saying with the actual sources, but don't put that in the letter. Have that on a separate page. But that's the extent of the letter. Normally what we do when we have a face-to-face class is we actually mail those letters together, but we will not be doing that. So what I ask from you is that you wait until I offer some feedback and then you edit and send it yourself. I think that would be lovely. So that is all we're doing this week. And then we're into week 7. And so yeah, I look forward to continuing to engage with you. And I hope your summer is going well and that you are looking forward to a little bit of a vacation at some point this summer if you haven't done that already. I can tell you that the mountain air, oh my goodness, it just made me come alive again. So blessings to you this week, my friends.